Next question says, when actual GDP is below potential GDP, the budget deficit increases because of what? And so budget deficit, again, is the difference between the total tax revenue that the government collects versus the total expenditure that the government makes. And so if you make more expenditures than you collected in tax revenue, you're going to have a deficit. And so when the actual GDP is below potential GDP, we call it a recession, a recessionary gap. And two things happen there that are going to affect the budget deficit. First is going to be transfer payments, which are basically payments to those who are going to be suffering from the bad economy. So unemployment benefits, more people on welfare or food stamps, a greater strain on the overall transfer payment system. These are all things that increase the amount that governments must spend and basically transfer it into the hands of people in the country because of the bad economy. And so that's going to directly increase the total expenditure of the government. So that's one way your budget deficit might increase. Any other way that the budget deficit might increase is affecting the taxes. And when there's a recessionary gap, you have high unemployment, you have people making less money, and so the income tax that people pay, which is the primary tax revenue source, is going to be lower. People don't have as much money, so they're going to be in lower tax brackets, and so the tax revenue that the government collects is lower. So in two different ways, we see that budget deficit is increasing. The amount of money that the government must spend is going to go up, and the amount of money that the government collects is going to go down. So we have these two effects of a recessionary gap that both drive deficit up. Let's take a look at what the previous tutor said. So the previous tutor says that when the GDP is below potential, it is considered in recession. In the recessionary period, falling unemployment and output, people are laid off and industries are shut down. In order to maintain stability and maintain economic output, the government must implement several social and economic programs. Generally, it increases expenditure and reduces taxes, which is called expansionary policy. When government adopts this policy, the budget deficit widens during the period. In short, during recession, it is an increase in welfare and economic programs that widens the budget deficit. So this could be a better answer, I think. So more specifically, the budget deficit increases due to transfer payments, due to increased transfer payments and lower tax revenue. During a recession, more people qualify for transfer payments like unemployment benefits and welfare programs. As a result, overall government expenditure increases. On the other hand, a recessionary gap implies higher unemployment. People will make less income, which translates into lower income tax revenue for the government. This twofold effect drives up the budget deficit. Okay, I'm going to mark the solution as correct because they got the right answer, but a little bit better clarified here.